Welcome to Watch a Makin', a podcast about sharing ideas, discussing the business of making, and connecting with the maker community. Your hosts are Alex Adams, an engineer turned furniture maker of Type A Furniture, and an alien pretending to be a DIY craftsman, Alex Duffy of Duffy Woodcraft. This is Watch a Makin'.
Hello, makers, and welcome to What You're Making, a podcast where we talk all about our current projects, spotlight the makers throughout the community, and are here to remind you that President Theodore Roosevelt had a tattoo of his family crest across his chest in 1912. This week's main discussion is all about short-form content with a special guest, but more about him in just a moment. I'm Alex Duffy, and you can find me on Instagram and on YouTube at Duffy Woodcraft.
And I am Alex Adams at Type A Furniture, and I'm too much of a coward to get a tattoo because I'm afraid of commitment. Oh, also, but if you're not afraid of commitment, you can go to patreon.com/whatchmakinshow, and you can enjoy many, many patron benefits by selecting a tier that works best for you.
Who are you?
All right, this week we have a special guest with us. Our third host is Jeffy Weppy, otherwise known as Maker's Way, otherwise known as Jeff Hinkle. Welcome to the show, bud.
I don't think none of those are right. Hi, Alex and Alex.
Hi.
None of those are right?
It's Hinky, but the AWP guys have been saying
Hinky.
Hanky.
Jesus Christ, do I always say Hinkle?
I don't know. I don't pay attention anymore.
I'm so sorry.
We're not friends anymore, but it's fine. I'm Jeff Hinky. It is a German. Oh, my chair just dropped. A German last name. I'm a maker and a
maker or a makel?
Quasi YouTuber. I'm behind the cameras 90% of the time on a YouTube channel.
You could say you're a director.
Director, producer. I'm like
the guy that cleans the couch.
Yeah, they call me. I'm like a fluffer, like on an adult film set. You know, the guy who fluffs the pillows before the sets of adult movies.
What about like cat wrangler? Because you always have to wrangle the people that are in front of you.
Yeah, I refuse to wrangle adults. Like I don't do that. I work with Johnny Builds, YouTuber Johnny Builds, and I tell him every time we've gone to a maker event, like I don't wrangle people, I don't wrangle adults, children maybe, but I have a 16-year-old, so I don't have to do that anymore.
That would be in your blood, being an Oklahoman. Like you don't have a lasso.
No, that's a little more south. Like Oklahoma is just, we got like the meth and the trailer parks. That's about it.
And a little bit of the oil field workers.
Yeah, I think the wage gap in Oklahoma with from trailer parks to oil field workers and oil field tycoons is pretty significant.
Needed the sound bite for 2 trailer park girls go around the... No, sorry. All right. Anyways...
What you doing?
So this week we'll start off with what we're making. So this week I have been actually in the shop a lot filming this week. I've been catching up on videos. So I've been making 3 new board games that I'm going to do in a combined one video for YouTube. They're all 2-player versions of games I already make. So instead of doing a 6-player version of Aggravation, it's now a 2-player version, which is interesting because I haven't found anybody selling these online yet. So I don't know if I'm first to the market or if this game just doesn't exist and I just had a fever dream about it. But so I started working. Yeah, so it's the game Aggravation. It's a marble or dice game or peg game, depending on who's making it. It's instead of a 6-player game, it's a 2-player version of it. Also doing a 2-player version of Chinese checkers, which is kind of just checkers, but still has a different format. And then a new version of cribbage that I'm doing that literally folds up into the size of a deck of cards. So you can literally take a deck of cards and that next to each other and put it in your wallet or put it in your pocket and go to the bar or something. Because I'm boring at bars. I just like to play games. So I'm doing that video. That'll be coming out probably next week. I finished up a bunch of lasers or laser to keychains this week. I did 35 different designs for the holidays. So I was creating stock for that. And then I filmed, I'm going to announce it now because I don't know. They haven't officially announced it yet, but by the time this airs, it probably will be announced. I'm teaching a class at the Vetric user group online meeting in October 16th and 17th. And so this past weekend, I was filming the class for that and getting all that together. So that should be announced probably within the next week. If not, you heard it here first, folks.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. That's what I've been doing. Jeff, what have you been doing this week?
I'm going to use my time to talk about politics in America.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I got some fun stuff.
Theodore Roosevelt Bull Moose Party. Theodore Roosevelt's my favorite president, by the way. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I appreciate the complete blatant lie about his tattoo.
Yeah, actually, I was researching that and I found that article is actually an article that was released talking about his chest tattoo, but in reality, it's a lie that the internet has continued to grow. Yeah. He had a burn on his chest from musket burn, and then that got mistaken for a tattoo. And then in 1912, an article was released about it.
He was also.
I heard that it was a CNC burn when he was operating a CNC. That
he had a CNC. He was the first CNC tattoo artist. He was
trying to put a tattoo on, but it got burned. He
got shot during a speech, and it was when he was trying to run for president again, running for the second time. It would have been his third, but he lost to Woodrow Wilson. But he got shot, and they shot him in his notebook, and the bullet got lodged into, it went through his notebook, and basically broke the skin on his chest and left a pretty wicked scar. But
and that
people in Boston would say a wicked scar.
Wicked scar.
So that I did actually know that he was your favorite president from this last maker meetup that we were at, and so I kept that in the back of my head and was like, okay, that's going to be his fact for the show.
Nice. Tattoos,
and
Roosevelt,
tattoos.
You know how to win my heart.
Yeah. Well, speaking of tattoos, I know this isn't maybe what you did this week, but for those who haven't watched, you are now known as the tattoo CNC guy.
Yeah, I've invented
talk about how that came about.
Invented a tattoo style that hopefully nobody's stupid enough to do. I blatantly stole the idea from Emily the engineer. She did it. I don't know where I don't know. You try and think of where some of these creative people come up with their ideas, and you'll never know. But she just had an idea for putting a tattoo machine on a 3D printer. And I was like, well, I mean, I have a tattoo pen. I have a few tattoo machines, and I have a CNC. What's the difference? It seems like it would be easier. There's issues of stretching the skin, because you have to stretch the skin, and technically a tattoo needle is not supposed to go in perpendicular to the skin. It needs to go at an angle, but whatever. It's a stupid tattoo. It's not like it's a real thing, But yeah, I did that 2-3 weeks ago. When was it? I don't remember.
At least a month ago. At least a month.
Yeah, it was. I guess. Yeah. If it was
Texas was 3 weeks ago.
Shit. Yeah. So yeah, that was a couple weeks ago. This week, like I said, I'm working with Johnny Builds. I worked with him previously a few years ago. I worked with him for a couple years. He savagely fired me, and I'm a glutton for punishment, so I came back. He made a business decision that he thought was the best, and I completely respect him. I've ran multiple companies. I've made a lot of business decisions that were not the best in my own companies and in other companies. But, sometimes you make a decision that you think is going to be the best, and it ends up not being as good as you had hoped, and you reunite with your homeboy and hire him back. And that's kind of what happened with me and Johnny. And before and during my hiatus, I ran my own furniture business, and so I'm still working on some of my own pieces, and that's kind of what I did this week. Was try and finish up. I have probably 10 more customer projects that I'm trying to finish off, and then I can just go on and do my own thing, and not have to worry about customer stuff. But I worked on it's like literally right behind me. You can kind of see it right here. There's one table, and then a table base, and then a coffee table, and I did kind of a lot this week. How about
Nice.
you, Alex Adams? Getting those snakes out of your garage door and
so I had not seen the snake that crawled into the hole in the sidewall of the garage. So I was like, you know what? If they're just gonna hang out there, I'm just gonna make them a sign. So what I did was I took a piece of scrap cherry and I laser engraved the Snake Hole Lounge logo from Parks and Rec, and I just set that up as a sign right in front of the hole where the snake slithered into. So I made a reel about that, and Jeff very much pointed out that I did not ask permission to enter the garage since it's now their domicile.
I mean, they do own it because it's they're occupying it.
Yeah,
that's true.
Occupy garage. Now I also heard that this is a hot take you had, that Parks and Rec is a better written show than The Office. How do you justify that?
Nick Offerman.
There you go.
That's all I need to say. But yeah, so I did that. Actually, here, it's literally right here. I'll just pop it on the screen real quick.
The snake?
No, I'm not going to pop my snake on the screen.
Switch to the Patreon only.
Yeah, you got to pay extra for that. Yeah, there's the little sign. It's 5 inches by 5 inches when you measure from the base. But yeah, that worked pretty well.
Oh, that won't be the first one. That's only the first one, Jeff. I promise.
Okay. Anyway, what else I've been doing this week? So I finished off a walnut cane that I'm making for my grandpa. So for the longest time I had gotten it part way, and then I had other projects that I needed to finish up. But I just needed to sand it real quick, so I got some of the Surf Prep Pro Foam to sand the contours of it to get that last little bit there, and then I threw on some Bumbleshoots wood oil on that to finish it out. I think I need to throw on another couple of coats on that before I find a time to give it to my grandpa. And then I've got a bunch of slabs that I moved in and met with the customer for doing a dining room set. So that's one where we milled up the wood that was from the neighbor's backyard. So that's what I have been working on here lately.
No, real quick before we move on, and because we're going to be talking about short form, I have an idea for you for that snake hole. So take a picture with the sign right next to it, and do one of those AI videos and have it be type your prompt the most snakes coming out of this hole at one time, and then or something like that, and just have it so it's spewing snakes out of the hole or going in, whichever.
Sometimes you got to go in and out of the hole.
Yeah, you could go both. In, out, in, out, in, out.
Sometimes two snakes at one time.
Yeah, if you're lucky, you can even go in the back door.
I don't know. I'll have to find the back door. because I only see the front door.
It has a weird smell. You got to sniff around for it. But
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, with that,
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
so what have you been selling this week, Alex?
First of all, boo you whore for skipping the What You Breaking segment, because I love that segment.
Hey, language. This is now an explicit
It doesn't count if it's
episode. Thank you
accurate.
very much. Anyways, fuck you too. Now let's go on.
I haven't been doing a whole lot of craft fairs lately, just because the local farmers market that I had been signed up for, it was kind of winding down a little bit as kids went back to school and families were back in school, so they didn't have as much time to go to that. And then I was spending more time coaching cross country, so I didn't have time to do it the last month. But now I've got a couple of craft shows that are going to be popping up in the kind of fall and winter time frame. So I've got one that's going to be on November 22nd. That they have a few. What?
My birthday.
That's your birthday?
I'm also doing a market that day, so it's nothing exciting.
So anyway, this is just like a little local thing, so it's nothing huge. But it's like I think it's like a little boutique that's putting it on, and they have some like indoor spots that they have. And then since I am like late to the game, it's free, but I get an outdoor spot, so I have no idea what the weather's going to be like in late November, like right before Thanksgiving. So we'll see what happens with that. So I don't really know what to expect.
They would have to pay me to be there for that in the middle of
It's only
late
like
fall,
4
winter.
hours, and it's like a half mile from my house. So there's not a whole lot of like friction for like travel and setup for it. So it's low barrier to entry for me. So that's why it's just an easy thing to try. And then there'll be I forget what the date is, but we have this kind of winter festival. It's a little bit bigger of a event. It's like what you would equivalent to like a county fair type size event for whatever your municipality does for county fair type stuff, where it like kind of brings in surrounding smaller communities for a day.
Yeah.
So that one, I talked to him a little bit, and I think one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do some 3D printed cookie cutters and just have like a little station that has a little bit of like Play-Doh that kids can play with.
Just making fun of you.
It's fine. I don't care. I've seen what makes you cheer. Your boos mean nothing to me.
Jeff, have you been? I mean, you've been making stuff this week for clients. Have you been selling anything other than your body?
Just his body.
yeah, as I'm trying to wrap up my own business in the aspect that it was, I'm still taking like small jobs that the customers understand the timeline expectations will be extended, because prioritizing getting what's in my queue out of it. But I did take a commission for 2 table bases from a returning customer. I'd like to just focus on returning customers if I take any jobs at the moment. But yeah, I got like a table base for a customer. I turned a large pedestal base for them a few months back, and they really liked it, and they want similar style but rectangular 2 bases. So sold that, I guess.
I did not know you did turning
I watched
too.
a crack deal go down on my lunch break, so that counts. Somebody was selling crack in front of the restaurant. The establishment. It was a Subway. I ate at a Subway. Somebody's selling crack in the Subway parking lot.
I mean, that tracks. That's pretty obvious.
Where else are you going to sell it? You know?
Yeah, I mean, not at a Wendy's for sure.
Oh no, Wendy's. Pfft. They got that $5 big box menu. No room for crack in that place.
No, clearly. Let's see. For me, selling this week, I really just CNC files have been my focus right now because everybody's buying and getting ready to make for the holiday seasons, and then just building my own stuff. I have now officially confirmed all of my holiday markets for the market. So starting November 1st through Christmas, I have a holiday market every weekend. So yay, going to be busy. But it also, that's where 90% of my income for the year comes from generally. So it'll be good to get those all booked. And I'm super excited because I've expanded in all of them. I have this year, instead of one table, I've guaranteed a double table at least in every location. So. All right. So this week, I only have a couple that I wanted to call out. First of all, it's craftsmm_official on Instagram. I think they're a combination of reposts. I wasn't sure. It does look like some reposts, but a lot of it seemed to be unique content. I don't know. Just putting that out there. But the post that they made today was a really cool CNC whale. It was made out of maple and wenge. And then they did a fourth axis turning on a CNC to cut it out. But they impregnated it with a bunch of magnets and then used a big maple base with a magnet made into it so that the whale was floating over the maple base, which was pretty cool looking. So go check them out. Another maker I've talked about before on here, he's knocking it out of the park constantly with his content, is Justin Davies. If you haven't seen him, he is making all of the wood ice cream series. He's a woodturner as well, and so part of the series is about turning a bowl and a spoon, but he takes this wood, and so this week it was the plum tree wood, and he bakes it to sterilize it, and then he basically boils the wood with cream and then makes ice cream out of it and to get all the flavor. And so he did plumwood this week, which, by the way, does have cyanide in it, so it was deadly.
And tasty.
And tasty. But he also had showed off his birch tree extract. He had taken a bunch of fresh birch branches, put them in some alcohol, and created an extract over the last 6 months. And so he had made some cookies and some buttercream from that. It's just a unique take on woodworking to also bring in the baking aspect. I just think it's really cool. And then
you should also throw in like the berries and cream dance.
Peanut butter jelly. No. And then the last one I wanted to shoot out was Masterworks. So this is an account over in the Netherlands on Instagram.
Works with an X.
It works with an X. That's right. They are doing a whole bunch of epoxy tables, which we've all seen, but they also, unlike a lot of makers, make their own table bases out of metal as well. And not like the stereotypical like tube, like they're actually warping sheet metal and making these cool like waved bases and stuff. But I was really impressed with their work. And I say epoxy tables, it's not like what you're thinking of with a coffee table. All the tables that on their account are like 15-foot plus conference tables. So they're just massive things that they're pumping out. So it's really cool. Oh, and I did have one more. Lastly, my friend Kara at And East, she just posted, she made it a beautiful retail display for her stuff at a local coffee shop. And her sales have been picking up, and she actually had a whole bunch of new coaster designs and stuff that she's posting. So if you're a fan of her stuff, which if you're looking for inspiration on how to do design of take a simple design of a board or a coaster and elevate it to the next level, go check out her work. Jeff, have you anybody you want to shout out?
Kara and East as well. Justin Davies. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his.
No, I've never heard of these people.
He's a woodturner, right?
Yeah, I think he's a woodturner, and he also makes ice cream. And a little secret, he actually has his family crest tattooed across his chest.
Oh, is it the Teddy Roosevelt chest?
same exact. It's actually he is a Roosevelt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't. So for anybody listening, the hundreds of thousands of listeners,
Yes.
Alex, I won't say which one, sent me an email that had everything I should have been prepared for, and he doesn't know I can't read, so it's not his fault. Don't blame him. Send your angry emails to the other Alex. But I'll shout out. Yeah, I'll shout out Johnny Builds on YouTube, so I can get that pay. Go ahead and check out some of those videos.
You get paid per view, right?
Yeah, I get pay per view. Yeah, I don't know.
Make sure you check your
Come back
local
to me.
hotel.
Maybe if I can think of a YouTuber or an Instagrammer. I don't know.
All right.
Skip, pass.
We'll check back in. Alex, who you got? I see you have a long list in our notes.
It just looks long. First one I've got is, I don't know how to pronounce it. Usitat, Usihat. But what they did was, so they took just like regular kind of like wooden spatulas, and they essentially swapped in a bunch of different wood species into those. And so it was really, really fun and whimsical. So it's kind of like, you know how people do lots of creative geometric designs when they're like remaking cutting boards, but it was kind of similar, but for the spatula game, instead of just one piece of wood for that spatula. So I thought that was a pretty good take on that. The next one was a really, really interesting one that surprised me. So it's from Lood_studio. That's LOOD _studio. And so what they did was their thing is a specific type of wood bending. So they'll take like a charcuterie board or something like that, and they'll cut like maybe a 1/4 inch in on one side, about 4, 5, 6 inches in, and then they'll wood bend and peel that back to give this kind of like natural peeled back look to it. And it's just really, really different. I had not seen anything like that before. So they have made their own style by doing that, and it's just really, really awesome. So that one I thought was really great. Next one that I've got is Amanda at Sawdust Woman. So she made, for those of us who have
Awesome
like,
name, by the way. Awesome name.
Exactly.
That was going to be mine.
I know. You're so forward thinking.
It was a pencil box. Spoiler.
Ah, you bastard.
Well,
it's all about the anticipation. You didn't let me build the anticipation.
It's a great game.
No, yeah. So yeah, it's the pencil box from like, I don't know if it was always like the early 90s. That's where I remember it from. That kind of like had the dimples on the top, and then had like, I think it was Space Maker or something like that was like what was in the centerpiece of it. And then she actually did some really nice brass barrel hinges, I believe, for when it opens up. So it just looks very, very well done.
I know you're trying to be nice. Those barrel hinges suck. I hate those barrel hinges. I've used them in other projects. They are the weakest junk hardware of all time. They will break after like 4 times. It looks gorgeous, but after you open that thing like 4 times, they will break off. Just as a FYI, do not use those barrel hinges. I hate them. Hate.
That sounds like a hate crime. Next one that I've got is Astrapala Woodworking. So they made, because I've always been big into like insects, bugs, butterflies, that kind of thing. And so they made these 3-dimensional butterflies that are about 2 to 3 foot long, using the natural edge of lumber to make them. So it takes a very good eye to match up lumber that works well and actually has the proper shape to look like an actual butterfly. So hats off to them on that one. And then on the other...
I will shout out about them too, because I also follow them and I've been watching their stories. They are the latest other victim of copycats, because their butterflies have been taking off in the last month, and a whole bunch of people have started making the exact same things, but not like, claiming it as their own creation. So just if
Are you talking like ripping off pictures or actually making something?
They're making it, but they're not fully ripping off the pictures, but they are making them as copycats and selling them. I do have to say, like, and they mention it in their post, like they don't own the design; it's just a design that they've made. But if you are going to claim that you've made something and it is definitely literally a copy and paste from somebody else, give them credit. Like they said, they don't care, make it, but at least credit them that the idea came from this person.
Especially if you're profiting off of it. Especially if you're profiting off of it. Like if you're making it, like, okay, like I've made something in the past where I didn't realize that it was from another maker, and as soon as I found out, like I came across their stuff and I was like, oh shit, like, hey, doodle-doo, you see something from 2 years ago I made. It was yours, and I tagged them in it like 2 years after the fact. But especially if you're profiting off of it, that's just
except for the guy who like tried to copyright a river table. Screw him.
Oh, he's the worst. He sucks. Glass river tables.
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that guy.
Anyway,
yeah.
Yeah. Him and the who was the guy who made Vanta Black and was all chintzy about it or whatever. I think he was the same guy who made the Chicago Bean. He's a dick.
It's called the Cloud Gate. Get it right.
It's a bean.
You know, I'm cultured. I use what the people refer to it as.
Okay.
That's the real.
I went to Chicago.
Real way.
Quick story. I went to Chicago my first time ever going. I love Chicago, and I was trying to find the Cloud Gate statue, and I kept asking people, like, "Hey, are you from here?" No one's from there. No one is from Chicago.
Yep.
And then I'm like, "Do you know where the Cloud Gate is?" And they're like, "What?" And I finally realized, like, oh, people don't call it by the actual name. It's just called the Bean. So then I found it immediately. It was like, oh, the Bean. Like, yeah.
Did you flick it?
Of course, I licked it.
Nice. Okay, next one that I have. Person's name is Clemens from @Clemens _ Solner _ marquetry. Solner is spelled SOELLNER, and they are out of Germany, I believe. And so they've got their focus is on marquetry, where they're making moths, and they're very, very well done. And they're like super hyper realistic, and there's a massive marquetry pieces that are like 2 or 3 feet in length, so lots of detail. And I think even in some of them, like, they add a 3-dimensional aspect of it where they've got like the actual shadows of the legs to get it to have that actual perspective in there. So that level of detail really shows how well they've established that type of style that they've been making that marquetry. Let's see. Next one that I have, kind of going with the... Stop getting ahead of me, Alex. Dang it. Slow down.
For those who aren't watching.
We've been over this. We got to build the anticipation. Anyway, this person's out of Iran. They are at libra.glry. They've been doing some fun fall decor with this pumpkin necklace that Alex already showed. Now you can show it. There you go. And the next one is Lee at Busted Knuckle Woodworks. He's doing CA glue, how to make it yourself. Just using isopropyl alcohol and baking soda.
Yeah, I saw somebody else do that like last week, I think. Who was it? Maybe they commented. Maybe it was more recently than that. But like, the activator's just baking soda and water. Isn't that fucking crazy?
Mm-hmm.
I always run out of activator. I'm an activator boy. I spray the shit out of it.
Yeah, I literally will go to a jewelry store not too far away just to buy activator from them when I run out. And I'm like, well, now I know.
I never run out of CA glue. That shit dries before I run out of that. But the activator, gone.
I hate the CA glue bottles. Somebody needs to come up with a better one that the damn cover does not glue itself every time you use it.
Yep. Or just break off eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Like you actually, like cutting it or it breaks off.
What I've started doing the past month, 2 months, is I actually will fill they're like insulin syringes with CA glue, and I'll apply it that way because it's a lot easier and more controlled with that syringe to be able to apply it.
That is such a small needle. What is it like? It's like a
Like
It's an 8 gauge.
no.
It's like-
It's got it. It's like a 23 or higher.
I can
It's
tell you, I can
so
go
small.
to my wife's closet.
Yeah, I know my wife's
Well, yeah,
type 1 diabetic.
well, yeah, because that's so the challenging thing though is that when you use that insulin syringe, like you'll get a bead of the CA glue on the end of it. So if you need to get, you just had that readily available. Did you get that from a Subway parking lot?
No, it was in my trash can.
That's a quality callback.
So anyway, like, if you're applying it on the surface, it's really difficult because it'll still beat up the same size droplet. But if you're getting the needle below the surface level, you can actually get it into some of those smaller cracks to be able to fill those voids with the CA glue. But I've just found like that it's easier to control and apply than it is to like squeeze the actual bottle, because sometimes you just like you're squeezing and you're like, am I getting any more out? And then you just get like a huge glob on top of everything. So it's a little bit, yeah. So the good thing, and the other thing too, is that you want to leave, if you're gonna be a little while between the next time that you're actually using that insulin syringe and you still have some in there, all I got to do is make sure that there is a droplet on the tip of the needle, and that'll keep it from like drying out within the needle. So then all you got to do once it has dried is just peel off that droplet, and then you're ready to use that again.
A little droplet of pre-CA.
Yeah.
This sounds.
You can also
I'm skipping over
get,
that.
Veterinary syringes off
Yeah.
Amazon for like $50 for like $12, and you can just fill up a bunch of them and have them like ready to go with CA glue. That's Alex. You're actually kind of smart.
I surprise people.
However, this sounds like a horrible way to inject yourself with CA glue.
Yeah, I mix up my
CA glue, not even once.
wife's insulin. Jesus.
Well, not even that. Just like as you're like peeling off that little tip, and you just poke yourself, and you've got now
So
CA
you
glue.
get rounded, like flat, not non-serrated or whatever, which is less likely to penetrate the skin, the epidermis, but probably still incredibly likely.
Most of the time I'm using black CA glue anyway, so it's pretty like apparent where I can see where the needle tip actually is. So I haven't had an issue with that. Plus I don't have a history of using needles for bad reasons. So
Just heroin. You can also Starbond, if you email them like, hey, my tip broke, they'll just send you like a box of extras.
Well, might do that.
I
just to have
made
some on
a
hand.
comment years ago about like the tips and how much they suck, and Starbond DM'd me and was like, hey, we'll just send you a box of them. And I thought they were going to send me like a box of glue, and then the package shows up and it's literally like 20 tops, just glue tips.
yeah, it's the micro applicator tip or whatever that goes
yeah.
on top of the nozzle.
Yeah.
No, see, I need the whole damn twist top to the bottle, because that's the part that
that's what
constantly
it was
is.
extra tops, the full
Oh, the
thing.
full, not,
Oh, it's the actual
yeah.
tops.
Yeah,
Okay.
they'll send it to you.
not the
They
little
don't
condom that
make
goes
any-
on top.
No, the full tip,
Nice.
tip top.
Okay, I'm gonna message them.
Uncircumcised tip.
I'm gonna message them. I need a box of
Circumcise
those.
yourself.
Perfect. Well, and on that note, so this week we're going to talk about short form contents as our main topic, mainly because, Jeff here does a lot of contents, not necessarily for himself, but for Johnny Builds and for other people. But he's kind of a master at all things in my mind. So I wanted to bring him on and talk about short form. So Jeff, what do you know about content, man?
So content is basically a form of media that's on a social media platform that people can watch.
Nice. And what's your OnlyFans?
It's the White Chocolate Anaconda, at the White Chocolate Anaconda.
Nice. Okay. No.
Yeah, so I did short form content for Johnny Builds. We're kind of we're rearranging how we're doing things, much less focused on short form content, but we made a big push a couple years ago to just focus and grow his Instagram, just for, it helps with working with brands and things like that. And he was at like 20K and now he's at, over 350K or something like that. I basically just did, one thing about me is I love to learn. Like, it's my favorite thing in the world, besides sleep and pornography, is just sleep. Yeah, the other, I said erase that, edit that out. Is to learn. I love to learn stuff, and so when I'm like tasked with something that I enjoy and I get to learn about, I just dive, head first into it. And I did a lot of obscene amount of research on short form content. And it's not like there's any do what?
So midget porn.
Yeah, well, ironically, they're getting up there with short form content of their own. So I've heard. But yeah, there's not like a.
I'm just. Yep.
There's not like a key, like this is how you do it to go viral kind of thing like that. People talk about algorithms and people say don't listen to the algorithms and things like that. Like, the algorithm is just going to push whatever said company's platform wants to push. Like, YouTube wants all the eyeballs in the world on their videos, so they're gonna push things that get more eyeballs. You get a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm stuck at this number on Instagram. Like, or are you making the type of content that they're pushing? Or are you just making random stories about you, like wearing tinfoil hats and hiding snakes in your garage to make up a story that they got in there accidentally?
And getting their fingertips sanded off. I mean, just to name a few.
Hey, tinfoil hats are comfortable. Just saying.
I think that was the first time I ever heard of Alex. Was he was wearing a tinfoil hat on his story?
That was true.
I didn't know you did that.
No, yeah, not Duffy.
No, this.
No, Duffy's.
That
normal.
was that was a callback to AWP when I was first getting under their skin before they knew who I really was. Before they realized
that it's not
what
an
I was
act.
like
He's
as a person.
that weird.
Oh, and before we move on any farther, I do have, you brought up AWP. I was specifically asked to ask you from Braden, F, Marry, Kill, the AWP boys.
Me? Let's all do
you.
it.
Okay, sure. You go first.
Right. Since Braden asked, so okay, I'm gonna say, I'm not proud of this. So F Dan. He seems like a fun time. Mary, obvious Pete. He's still like, he's in the new family phase. He's gonna be a good husband. He is. I'm sure he is. I don't know. Everything I know about him, he is. And I'm sure Braden is, but he and I are very similar. Like, we sat down at Workbench Con one year and we're just talking about all of our similarities, and it's scary, all the similarities. So I got to kill him because we're like Highlanders. There can be only one of us eventually.
Do you two also have a lime green Jeep?
No, but I don't know if it's like this in other states. I haven't paid attention. But our giant, one specific waste management company, not Waste Management, but another one, their giant dumpsters are bright lime green. So every time I drive by one, I'll take a picture and I'll text Braden and be like, "Oh, you're in Oklahoma."
That's wonderful.
If I had to do it, it would be F. Braden, marry Dan, kill Pete. Because Braden seems like he would be a passionate lover. Dan would be the only one I think I could survive living with long term. And Pete, I just don't want to move to that side of the country. So,
yeah.
I'd have to go with an F for me stands for fornicate. So I'm gonna go with Pete on that one because he's exotic. I will go with I'll go with Mary Braden because he's a hustler and he'll provide. He's always got something going on. I mean, he runs Dan's business for him. So, I mean, he's got everything managed, and then I'll just kill Dan because he's got too many controversies going on. He's just bad juju.
You know what? I changed my answer. If Braden can fix my credit, I'll marry him. Fine. I'll marry Braden.
No, he's mine.
And right there is a perfect example of some short form content that we can clip.
It's controversial and it grabs your attention.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got a story around it. It has a couple of good viral moments, I think.
Yeah.
I got
It
nothing
may have
after
to
that.
be marked explicit, but
Yeah, maybe.
short form content.
So for me, I would say one of the biggest things, so short form content, I don't do a lot of. I'm trying to do more of. I've put a goal, I want to do at least one reel a week now, if not two. And
Real quick.
Oh yeah.
I love when you were on. I'm over talking about that other podcast. I think it's been brought up enough times. They can pay me the money that they paid me to bring up their podcast 12 times. They don't get any more free advertising.
Throw their pizza on the ground at Maker Camp.
Duffy, when you were on their podcast, you were talking a lot about your craft shows. And when I was watching some of your videos, because I think it was like right after craft show season, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you explained the psychology in how you set up your booths, and I feel like there is some untapped potential in just quick voice. So for right now, for example, when Instagram is pushing different things to try and get eyeballs, voiceovers seem to be pretty hot right now, and I think it's a perfect opportunity for you to, when you're setting these up, to kind of quickly explain, cut out all the bloatware. Just, this is why I put my table here facing this way and this, just real quick, just quick little videos, 30 seconds, 45 seconds seem to be where the money's at right now as well. Just of why you do certain things and the psychology behind it. And I think that is, and they may not go viral, but that's quality shit right there. Nerds,
for the love of God, don't use that 5-to-1 ratio they're trying to push right now.
If they're trying to push it, if the dude, what's his name, Adam Mosseri or whatever, the CEO, if he goes on Instagram and talks about them pushing something, do that, because that's what they're pushing.
I can't believe that 5-to-1 ratio is a thing.
They're going to be pushing it. I mean, that's
But
they want to,
probably because they can get more ad slots in between posts on the screen.
Probably,
but that's how they
probably
do it.
Exactly why.
Yep.
More less
Jeff,
for more money.
I really appreciate that. That's a great idea, and I will, especially while I'm setting up all my holiday markets, I'll record those. And if I have to sit on them for a year to start prepping them, pre-market, I will. But that's a great idea.
Yeah, because
Thank you.
you're the way you set everything up is really cool and interesting. So, and even when you in your stories, you'll show like a quick like scan. I would go back and watch and be like, I wonder why he put that there. Like, oh, that makes sense. I'm confused about that. I'm sure there's a reason, but I don't know because I've never done a craft show or anything like that. So, like, it's always intriguing, and I'm probably never going to do it, but it's one of those things that interests me on like how and why. Like I love the way they set up grocery stores, the psychology behind the music that they play, and how they used to put milk and bread in the back so people spent more time in there. But now people started going to smaller grocery stores, so now they put the bread and the milk in the front. Like all that psychology of like why companies and businesses do the things that they do. I think there's something to that. And not just makers, like woodworkers do craft shows. A lot of people do craft shows, farmers markets, everything. So that's potential for, like, you talk about the reason why on all this stuff. Why my chair is facing this way. Why I have an extra chair. Why is there a chair in the back? That's the cuck chair. The craft show cuck chair. We're all familiar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry to steal your turn. I think that's a really cool thing that you specifically would be really good at doing.
Thank you. And interestingly enough, I've had that brought up a lot this last year of people who have talked about that. And I have actually I've created an outline. I don't know if it's going to end up being a course or if it's going to end up being a book. But I have created an outline that I'm currently expanding for either of those directions yet. But I really like the idea of doing it for the short form too, which would be helpful. So moving on from that, just actually more or less for me, short form is always difficult because I don't like to take time out of what I'm already doing. So we talked about this on the last week's podcast. So I just bought the Meta glasses. And so all week, when I do like sanding or other things, I've been recording myself doing that. And then I've been turning those into short form. I've done some sanding story short form this last couple of weeks. Because for me, short form has to be convenient for me to want to do it. Otherwise, I feel like I don't have enough time when I'm doing everything else. Do you guys, like when you were doing it, did you guys specifically make like a plan that you were going to we're going to do some short form now, or was it just cutting it up the videos you already had made?
Probably 75-25. We planned it out. Like, we're going to do this. Oh, we got a new tool. We'll do this. I mean, I got pretty good at, if you have a second set of hands, it's so much easier because you don't have to move the camera around. When I'm making it myself, like I'm doing things in my shop, I have a couple hours at night I can't take away while I'm trying to do something. Like I'm building this base. I would love to make a reel of how I built this base, but I don't have time for that. It's going to take 3 times as long. So we would always plan it out. It's always best to plan it out. The more you do it, the more you can have like a shot list planned out. Like when I'm thinking about like the CNC tattoo, I knew every shot I wanted to do months ago. I wanted to do this reel 2 years ago before I even had my CNC. I know every shot, and I'm also a half-assed videographer for Johnny Builds, so I'm used to. Where did I leave off at? A little behind.
Half-assed videographer baseball, for Johnny Builds.
All my shit disappeared. So, okay, yeah, I'm a half-assed videographer for Johnny Builds, so I'm used to framing the shots and knowing what shots and thinking ahead and things like that. And I think that's something that's imperative to try to save as much time as possible when you're making this short form content, because if you know the shots and you're used to the shots, you can see, I don't make a lot of reels for myself, but if you go through them, a lot of them have the same style shots. And I try and do like a wide shot, then a close shot, or I try and do 3 shots of the same type of movement. Like if I'm pushing something through a table saw, I'll get this shot, this shot, this shot. Mm-hmm. And I try to think of all those before I even pick up a tool, because that's going to save me so much time when I'm like, okay, I know if I'm like picking this up to move it. I'll have to stop here, move the camera, because I want it to look like I have 5 different cameras, when in reality I have 1 or 2. Sometimes I'll throw a GoPro in, but usually the footage doesn't turn out how I want. And don't be afraid to like, don't think any of your clips are so precious that you can't do without them. Like, fucking trash them. If they don't fit the flow, throw them in the trash. Doesn't matter. Like, it matters more visually and audiolistically. I don't know if that's a word. I'm an idiot. That everything flows better. And like, you want the sound to flow well. You want the video to flow well. If you can make it look like I just picked up this piece of wood, turned around, walked over there and set it down, and it looks like you had 12 cameras and you got a clip of you picking it up, another clip of you turning, and it looks like it's all shot in the same, like in one take. In actuality, it took 10. Like, you have to think of those before you do it. So planning out all your shots 100%. Even your original question, do we plan it or do we just film as we go? 100% of it is planned, but 75% of it is, all right, let's sit down and make this real. And ironically, some of the best stuff is the 25%, where it's like, oh, that's a cool shot, let me pull my phone out. But in my head, I'm recording this. I already know then where the camera is going to be for the next 3 clips. So planning ahead is imperative. And if you just like, the meta glasses are cool. Just try to throw in some other shots. I think if you can, because a lot of people will just do the glasses, and then like, it's interesting and the POV is cool, but like, also set your phone up and try and record the same shit, and you can go from one to the other and switch around, and then move your phone over here where it looks like you got 3 cameras. And I think visually that'll bring.
It reminds me of when we were looking for wedding photographers for our wedding. We saw this one photographer's like, oh yeah, he did this fisheye thing, and like, you look through his portfolio and it was like all fisheye pictures, and it's like, okay, this is cool, this one novelty thing, but if you're just a one-trick pony like that, you lose attention because you don't change the frame. It's like, if you ever look, when I haven't been posting stories a lot, but I try to avoid being in the exact same frame doing the same thing in each story, because that will, like, you lose people's attention if you're just talking continually. Yeah, they'll just skip right through. So I will specifically try to change the environment, change something so that it snaps back the people's attention. And I do the same thing with like you were talking with changing the view or the angle that you're filming from, because a lot of times, like, you'll spend more time than you need on a particular operation, and you can film it from 3-4 different angles with one camera, and then you can just pick which one works best and trash the rest, so that you're able to have that continuality, as you had mentioned, where it looks a lot smoother. Because like, probably one of my better performing reels was when I made the little BB gun tray for my son, and it was just like on a whim recording thing, where it was like, I was I had a good story where I was saying like, my son needed this for his little BB gun competition. I was, I pulled out some raw material. I went to the drill press a little bit of laser, and then adding the finish on there. And so I also make sure that I try and not dwell on one thing super long. And you can use time lapse or speeding stuff up to help you adjust that, so that you're not spending 20-30 seconds on one operation when all you might need is like 4 or 5 seconds to get the point across, so that you keep that person from scrolling on to the next post.
Well, and I will say on that too, as you said, as a separate camera, I have been doing that with the Pocket 3, and I like that too, because I can switch it easily between the vertical or the horizontal. So being able to do that has been really helpful as well.
How much do you like that? Like, would you recommend it?
This is my main camera now.
Okay.
Yep. So I love it. Still have a Canon that I'll shoot with as well. But honestly, the 4K quality of this, plus then being quickly able to swap it into vertical mode, so I don't have to worry about editing that later to vertical, is really, really nice.
You may not
I
have
use
to
this now.
edit to vertical ever again with Instagram doing horizontal.
I think so. On that for a sec, I think Instagram is dying. Honestly,
Yeah.
it is just it's just like Facebook at this point. It is a dying platform. It's just for us. Facebook is for boomers. Instagram is for millennials. TikTok is going to be for Gen Z. And Twitch is Gen Alpha, and weirdos like me. But I think it honestly it is a dying platform, in that they're trying to do whatever they can to bring some new things. And the problem with that thing is nobody's sitting here scrolling horizontally.
Yeah.
So you've just now created a super small window for a world of all we're distracted as it is. Now it's something we can scroll through even faster. It's just, I don't think it's going to catch on. I could be wrong. We'll see in a year.
I think they'll probably keep it and no one will use it, but it'll still be an option.
Yeah, it'll just become not necessarily phased out, but just a feature that's kind of hidden in there and probably rarely used.
I mean, they're still pushing carousels like crazy. Like, if you make a carousel, they will push it. Like, they love putting carousels in the fucking For You page or search page or whatever it's called now.
So that actually came back. I was reading an article about it. That came back around because of a user demand that people were using carousels more, and they were finding it that they're the only app that does carousels. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that it does differentiate, I can't ever say that word, themselves from everybody else, that they did start pushing that more again.
Right.
There was an interesting article about 2 reels a week, 1 carousel, and at least 3 stories for the algorithm to like recognize that you're an active user.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, with Johnny, we came up with a plan to post every day for 30 days, and it helps. Stories help. I mean, a lot of people get the majority of their Instagram content through stories, and
I'm one
crazy
of them,
amount. I mean, my reel where I tattooed myself with the CNC, it's almost at 2 million views, which is, I've never had a reel in my own page do that well, because I post once every 3 to 4 months. But a lot of people, when you look at the analytics, a lot of people are finding it through stories, because random people in Germany are sharing it to their stories, and that's how a lot of people get new. People don't look at the search page as often to find new things as they find them through stories. So
I like your image for it, though. Sorry, I just pulled it up on the screen.
I started doing that a couple videos.
I like that.
Yeah,
the Onefinity one too.
I did it initially. I was trying to see, because when I was doing all my research a couple of years ago, they pushed thumbnails that were taken from a clip in the video, and so I started experimenting with side by side. Like, I have burner accounts that I'll post the same reel on 2 separate accounts, with like one with this thumbnail, one with this thumbnail, and just kind of see how they do. And I started realizing recently that the ones that have a clip from the video that you're showing, they're not doing as much, because you can go in and you can edit them, and Instagram really wants to push all of their editing stuff. The more time you can spend in their app, like the more time you spend on your content in their app, the more they want to push you, so you make more content on their app, and you're getting more because they make money every second your eyeball touches their content, they make more money. So that's what it's just a fucking business. Like, they want to make money.
I have been noticing an uptick ever since I started this, which is, even though I edit in a different app, I'll upload my finished edit into edits, they're adding, and then I'll post it through that app because they're pushing things so they can add the made with edits button.
Exactly. And they want, they're, and this is just me theorizing, but they probably don't want to push that too much, but I've definitely noticed a boost as well. They don't want to do that too much because that'll alienate people who have their app that they want to edit on. So they probably are going to push it just enough to give you like that little Pavlov's dog ding that, like, ooh, when I do this, I get more views. But they don't want to push it too much where it alienates people. So.
Yeah. I wanted to circle back real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
On just the like different styles and types of content, because I know that Jeff had talked a little bit about a lot of it being planned content, but even within that vein, you've got a lot of different options, and some of this depends on the type of channel that you are, where, like, because, you know, we've mentioned a little bit, like, sometimes if you've got a good story to tell, or if you're just like a page that does more like tips and tricks or like educational stuff, or if you're doing things that are just like goofy or funny, or more like ASMR, like quick time jumps where it's just kind of going through like a full build, or if you're doing like B-roll with like a voiceover, there's a lot of different avenues that you can go with that content depending on what the project is and how you filmed it. Because like, so I'll go back to my like snake saga, where like when I first encountered that, where I like felt and I was like, I think there might be a snake in there. A light bulb went off in my head where I'm like, this is going to be good content because it's very polarizing, because either people are like, they like snakes or they absolutely hate them, and it's going to be good for engagement, which unfortunately, like, engagement can be stuff that's like, you know, shock value, like, you know, Braden using a table saw crappily, or, you know, things along those lines.
Rage baiting.
Where you get, rage baiting, you know, that kind of thing.
He's doing that so much. It's so funny.
Yeah. That's all he does.
I mean, that's all he does now.
I would not be surprised if he never posted another piece of actual woodworking and he just went straight rage bait.
Yeah. But anyway, like, in looking through that snake saga, like, I had in my mind, like, I know that like there's a good story here, and I'm just gonna wrap what I'm able to film around that storyline. And like, I don't consider myself someone who's super proficient when it comes to like editing and filmography, but you get a good amount of engagement and comments out of it. And like the whole thing with like the Snake Hole Lounge, where it's like I made a little project based off of it, where there's a little bit of a story. Like, it's fun, it's engaging, it's not like there's more to it than just the visuals that are shown on the screen. Because like I've got some like friends who are like they're like, have you seen the snake yet? Like, is there anything new on there? Like, my kids have been watching it. Like, do you have any updates on this? So it's like you're getting people to actually crave more to the story as you're unfolding more pieces to it. And it doesn't have to be, something, super complicated. Like, you don't need a movie director to write a story for you, but just being able to realize the potential of some of those things that are happening in your shop, where it's like I think I mentioned earlier that like little BB gun tray for my son, like I filmed that off of a whim, and that's gotten the most views out of any content I've generated. And it's like, oh, by experimenting and trying something different, I found out something that worked really well.
Alex, have you Adams, AA, have you done a recap on all of it, like a compilation of like bringing all the stories of all the content of the Snake Saga together? Because
I have not.
Like, I think Lizzie House of Timber, I think she does it, but there's a few content creator makers that that are really good at, like, they'll have stories and they'll make a little bit of content about it. And then when it's done, when they kind of put a bow on it, like your Snake Hole Lounge, you can now leave all that on there and then go back, chop it all up, make it into one more kind of, I don't know, cleaner.
It's like a preview to a movie. You've already seen the movie, and now you're going
great.
back and doing the like highlight for people who may not have seen it before.
Yeah, you're doing kind of a quick little Cliff Notes sort of, but like front to beginning to end, full clip with a voiceover. And another thing about like recording stuff on a whim, like that's great. Any chance you can, do it. And also, nothing's preventing you from going back and catching that B-roll. Like, oh, I didn't get this shot. Let me go back and get it. Like one of the things when me and Johnny were heavy into making the short form, we would film it, and then he'd be like, "All right," he'd go do whatever else. And then I'd go back and get all the B-roll. And then if some of the sounds weren't good, a lot of my content has it's like not ASMR, but like shop sound heavy. And that's kind of, I don't really like the style of content that I make. It's not my favorite to watch, not my favorite to consume, but I understand that like it does better than the stuff I like to watch. But it's shop sound heavy. And so when I'm recording, I'll have my fan on, sometimes I'll have music on. So I'll just go back, redo what I did with nothing on. That way I can capture the sounds, and then I'll just overlay the sound onto the other clip. So nothing's preventing you from doing that as well. So you can always go back, catch everything, like you were saying, on a whim, for sure. And then if you want to refine it later on, you can always do that as well. But sometimes it's also better if it's completely candid. Like finding a snake in your weather stripping under your garage, that's crazy shit. That's shit that doesn't happen to people. People want to be intrigued by that. So like you absolutely have to go back, compile all the good clips, make a nice little, like the other day, I fucking found a snake in my garage door, like whatever. Do a nice voiceover and then repost it. Post it again, then change it around in a couple weeks. Post it again. Same fucking story. Change it around a little. Like Lizzie, I saw she did the same content she did like a year ago, but she just repackaged it, pushed it out again. Because somebody like her who makes a couple pieces a month, I think she said she makes like 2, maybe. I don't remember. I didn't pay that much attention when she was talking on AWP. But why? Sorry. She doesn't make a high volume of things, but if you look at her Instagram, it seems like she's making shit constantly. But she's a full-time mom. Like, she can't be out in the shop, 12 hours a day. So, but she's really good at repackaging and moving things around. And there's a lot of content creators like that.
When you can even share stories of past reels that you've had just to boost engagement again, because like I've had it before where I've gone through people's stories
Trash
and
cans.
like I've never noticed their whatever reel, like I'd never seen it before, but then I realized it's from like 4 months ago. I was like, I must, you missed that. And so it's like, even though it's old to you, it can be new to someone else who hasn't seen, or maybe they weren't active that month or whatever, and they never saw it. So there's no shame in, re-tagging, re-uploading stuff that you already have. And then you can also even, like, if you've got a host load of content where you're doing a long project of some kind, you can do bite-sized pieces where it's like, oh, here's how I do dovetail joints or whatever, even though it's like it's a project where you're making, drawers for a desk. Like when the whole project is like the desk, you can have little sub videos that you can peel off and do like single operations.
He's just taking his full-length videos and chopping them up into sections. Duffy?
I'm going to jump in because my finger's going numb holding this so that it doesn't play. I want to go back to what you said about the recap videos. One of my favorite Instagram accounts right now, Maria Palmer. She's a radio host in Chicago. She's freaking hysterical, but she does these corny recap videos called The Biff, and I wanted to just play this. And this is a great idea for anyone out there to do things like this.
Between the radio, the podcast, YouTube, social media, it's too much content for you to have to sift through. So here's the bit in full. The Biff. You don't want to scroll through 1,000 clips, so here's the Biff. Get biffed. It all started.
So anyways, it's just this stupid little corny intro, but the idea is that, I'm just going to summarize everything into one clip for you after I've gone through all these reels.
Are you bringing back Standing Thoughts with Duffy?
So they're part of every one of my YouTube videos. And I've been just starting the new Standing Stories. Okay. So I was going to do Standing Stories on Instagram, and then the Standing Thoughts are going to stay on YouTube.
Nice. Yeah. It made me think of like the old Saturday Night Live, like Jack Handy, Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy.
Yeah.
It's very, very similar.
It honestly made me think of like the makeup tutorials that a lot of girls do, where they're like, it's not about them putting on the makeup, it's about like the hot gossip that they're talking about. Where it was like, my boyfriend's, brother, like he went out and found like, it's just to like the doing the what's on the screen is just there to like slow you down, so then you can listen to the story that they're actually telling.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about entrancing people in something, whether it's the sounds, whether it's the actual visuals, if it's a story. That's kind of like voiceovers right now are working so well, because it's like you're tied in, there's nothing keeping people if it's just like you sanding. Nobody fucking cares. You can't even see that
not
big
at
of a
all
change when you're sanding. But if you're telling a story while you're doing it, all of a sudden you start a podcast and somebody comes on and he's like, when are you going to do those Standing Thoughts again?
Right, exactly.
And then you got to tell them what's in the bag.
Yeah, what is in the bag?
What is in the bag? Interestingly enough, that was I had started the Standing Thought thing right before my very first Workbench Con 2 years ago. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this for like 2 months and see if I get any traction. And it was so funny to go to Workbench Con right after that and have people who knew me because of those.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I think I even said something. I saw you like the last day or something. I was like, hey, I love your Standing Thoughts.
Right. And I was like, huh? Because there were a couple of and I'm going to name drop because it made my life. Steve Ramsey saw one of those and made a comment about when I met him at Workbench Con. He's the reason why I got into woodworking, like so many creators. Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, I love those videos. They're so fun." And I'm like, "Holy shit!"
He unfollowed me.
Oh no, he doesn't follow me.
He unfollowed a bunch of people. I think he's kind of pivoting more into his actual like passion of like horror movies and stuff. So he unfollowed a bunch of people. But like, I'm not upset. You're upset.
He not at all. He never followed me to begin with.
So I get to experience it.
I interviewed him when I was on Sawdust Talk.
Apparently, he didn't like my tracksuits.
He does.
I don't think anybody did.
He's doing. So I didn't know he did interviews, but he does movie interviews. Like he goes to movie premieres and interviews people. Yeah. Which
he's great at interviews. He is amazing at interviews. If anybody like has any like, oh, I need like inspiration, I'm a maker who interviews people, like fucking listen to his old like the woodworking talk show like from 4 years ago probably, when he was just interviewing woodworkers and makers. Fuck, there's some solid interviews in there. Like it's worth just going back years and listening.
Yeah, he apparently also has a couple of hidden Instagrams that are just like that don't show him, and they're not about woodworking at all. Like, I forget, I think it was like one of them's like just a picture of lawns. Like he'll take pictures of pretty lawns he sees and posts. Like there are these like weird ones out there that apparently are his. I have a friend that knows him well.
I got one
apparently.
that I was pushing pretty hard for a while. It's got, I think it's got like 1,000 followers or something. And I can't say what it is. A few people out there know what it is, but
I will share one that a friend of mine sent, and he was extremely proud of. He goes, "This is my proudest moment in my life." He's been posting for a year and has 0 followers, which is actually pretty hard to do if you think about it.
It really is.
And I'm trying to find the picture, but it was I won't show it, but he literally just takes pictures of his kitchen sink every day and posts it on Instagram of what the kitchen sink looks like that day.
Okay.
But
Weird.
yeah, it's totally weird. And if you knew this guy, he's also very weird.
Like it tracks.
It totally did. When he sent it to me, I was like,
Adams?
it was not. He's not a maker.
If you can tell me.
You're
but he sent it to me. I'm
unique,
like,
that's for sure.
yeah.
You definitely will never meet someone
what's your
like
hidden
me.
What's your hidden Instagram, Alex?
I don't
Do you have
actually
one?
have any hidden ones.
Yeah, he's weird enough on his normal one. What does he got to hide?
I have nothing to hide. I don't care. I have no shame.
I wonder, so out of your listeners, how many of them have actually like met the two of you?
I just met a bunch of them in Texas.
Oh yeah. I know.
I don't think I don't know if I've met
any.
I might have met maybe there might have been 1 or 2 at like Workbench Con.
Yeah.
But that was before we had started it up, so it wouldn't have been
Yeah.
anything related to it.
Well, according to our Buzzsprout, by the way, 30% of our listeners are outside the United States. So
30%? Maybe
30%.
Maybe they're all Canadian.
No, actually, we have a good portion of Australians.
Oh, well, good day. Shrimp on the bobby. That's all I know. I don't speak Australian.
Foster's beer.
Yeah.
I'll say hi to Steven while he's listening.
Erwin?
No, Steven. No, not Erwin.
Too
He's
soon?
dead. Stingray.
We got the
through
Ouija
heart.
board for him, though.
Yeah. Oh.
Which, by the way, is so sad. I'm going to go off of Steve Irwin just for a sec. The fact that out of all the things in the world that killed him was a stingray, and the fact that there are only, I think it was 9 recorded deaths via stingray in history, and he happens to be one of them.
Complacency. You think, you're around these animals all the time, especially one that like hypothetically it could kill you, but like you're not sweating it, and then it's just a crazy accident. It's cool that his family, like his kids, are still like full on like going after it.
Yeah, his son has a show now too, I think, and I've seen him on like Fallon or other places too.
Yeah. Looks just like him. Guy looks just like him.
Yeah, he's very young. He's a very young version, but yeah. Anywho, Alex, did you have anything else you wanted to ask about content?
There were a couple of things that I was going to touch on super quick, since you guys actually touched on just a smidge on like hardware and cameras. I know, at least for myself, I actually use old iPhones for mine, where I will like, I hold on to old iPhones just because, like, if you have one that like drops and gets broken and you need something to like hold you over, like I have them on hand, but I just use them to film. And so I've got a couple that I use to film, and then I usually, I recommend a ring camera that's like 18, 19, 20 inches, so you actually have good light with a tripod, so that you can film. Like, it just makes it so much easier to set up and film somewhere, because you can adjust the height, you can get the angle that you want, as opposed to like trying to set your camera somewhere and trying to get it to actually stay stable or something like that. And especially something that has batteries built in. Bonus if you can do that. It just makes it quicker and easier to film something and set up and make it quick. Because I try to make stuff easy to do, otherwise I'm not going to do it, because it just takes forever. So I'm all about making things streamlined, which is why a lot of times I'll just leave something rolling and turn it into a quick time lapse, just because I don't have to change the camera angles a bunch, and I can just shorten the video and just make it small little blurbs in the, the overall video. And then I personally use CapCut a bunch for my editing just because it's easy to change the video speed because I do that a bunch. They have a very good voiceover feature because, like, I don't have, like, a super fancy mic for doing my voiceovers. Like, I literally just, like, have my phone under, like, a fleece blanket. It deadens the sound good enough, and then I can do a voiceover for the video. Because, like, I'll edit the video, and then I will do the voiceover as I'm watching it. And I'll go through and, like, I don't have a script. I just talk my way through it, and I just keep on refilming that voiceover until I get the audio to be how I want it to be, because that way it's much more natural and uses the words that you would typically talk with as opposed to, like, a script. Because, like, what you write versus how you speak is very different, and depending on which one that you want to have, how you do that can affect how it comes across. So anyway, that was just a quick thing that I wanted to touch on.
Yeah, I think anybody worried about, like, the type of camera, old iPhones, old Androids, like I shoot with, I have a Pixel 9 Pro and an LG Wing, which is probably my favorite phone I've ever had. It's like 6 years old, 7 years old at this point, but it still records in 4K. And it flips out, like, it has like a main screen that flips sideways. And it is an auto stabilizing gimbal in and of itself. I'll probably have it at Maker Camp, which you guys won't be there, but I will be there, and I'll be filming the Maker Camp recap video. So I'll probably use that for a lot of it. And my Pixel, which can record at 8K, even though Instagram only uploads at 1080, I believe. The better quality, I don't know about 8K, it probably fucks it up if it has to break it down to 1080, but 4K looks better than, 1080. If you're putting it on Instagram, it's all going to look close enough. But lighting, like the sensors in these phone cameras, if you have a ring light, it'll make a huge difference, because these sensors aren't big enough to, like, really bring in quality light. But if you can force the light in there, it'll make the picture look better. So, work
because
on
if
lighting.
you're getting, like, because I know that the types of ring lights that I'm talking about generally are in that, like, $150 to, like, $200 range.
Yeah.
And then the 10-inch ring lights are in the, like, $70 to $80. But I'd never use the 10-inch ring light that I have, just because, like, it hardly outputs any light and it's basically worthless.
Yeah.
So, like, I would, like, there's no, like, it's like one of those, like, cry once buy once type scenarios, because that will help out significantly on making sure that you're actually able to capture what you're filming.
If you're wanting to get serious, then invest. It'll good lighting will make a adequate camera look good, but also, like, get some cheap LED accent lights off Temu or Wish or whatever the popular thing. Amazon probably has the same ones. Probably buy it from there. Get some of those, and if you only have the budget for a shitty $20 ring light, like, it's better than nothing, for sure. And if you use it enough, it'll break after probably 20 uses. Because I bought several, and I'm very frugal, and I just keep buying the shitty cheap ones. But when you break it the first time, that means you've used it enough to justify buying a nicer one, and then buy the nicer one, buy the $75, and $80 one, $100 one, something like that.
And you can get away with the ones that don't have any batteries in them, because battery is going to add extra cost. So you'll just have to deal with cords being around and just be conscientious of those. Because, like, when I first set up my shop in the basement space, there was, like, barely any lights in there, and it was dingy as hell. And a couple of, they're just the, like, shop lights that are, like, $20 at Menards, and they just plug into just the normal receptacle, and you can string them up however. Like, just having a few of those made a drastic difference in the lighting. And those are, like, super dirt cheap, and it's better to get a lot of the smaller ones that are cheap because you can have more of them around, and you're gonna reduce your overall shadows as opposed to like getting one thing that's like super bright in like the top of your ceiling.
I got some pretty cheap LEDs that I was like, I'll just get them for now. I think it was like $40 for like 10 or 12, maybe. And they're great. Like I have no problems. I figured I would get them and they're going to be good enough until I actually, they're fucking great. Like I have no complaints. So just, I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 14 lights in my 2-car garage. And it gets bright as fucking here. I mean, I ran a full-time furniture business, so I had to have plenty of light to see any imperfections, but it's also great for filming. Like you have that, plus you set up an accent light or a ring light, you're good to go. It's good enough for Instagram content. Who are you trying to impress?
Yeah.
Besides millions of people.
Well, so when you film with Johnny, do you have like a softbox or the key lights and stuff? You just shoot from all overhead lights?
Occasionally we have some LED panels, but that's usually for beauty shots only. When you're depending on what type of content you're making, his type of content, we're trying to make it feel like you're in the shop with us. So if it's two manufacturers, like Suman, what's Suman's Instagram? Suman's Got Wood or something.
Right, where it's all colored lights and one main light.
Beautiful. Beautiful. He doesn't want you feeling like you're in his shop with him. That dude doesn't want anybody in his shop with him. But he wants you to he wants it to give like a watch me as I do this cool thing or this test or whatever. He's talking.
Yeah, it's a very high production value.
Exactly. So it really depends on what your goal is. Like a lot of the content, you want it to feel like that. Like Duffy, you're not necessarily wanting them to feel like they're in the shop while you're explaining about CNCs and things like that. Like you don't need that feeling. So you can have like your production value is pretty high. It looks great. And that's very different than like with me and Johnny, we want everything to be lit up. I don't want to have to turn the camera and then move a light. I'm taking, 300 clips a day of different areas of the shop. I need every single spot to look the same. That way I don't got to fuck with the camera settings. Unfortunately, there's 3 big shops, 1 massive shop, and then 2. There's like a 2,500 square foot shop, 1,000. One's really dark, one's really whitish blue, and one's really whitish yellow. So I have to adjust the settings when we switch those, but it's not a huge deal because often we're in one of them for the majority of the day. But getting like the lighting even, I think, is more important than anything if you're moving around a lot. A lot of my content, I'm moving around the same spot, so I could do without having crazy overhead lights. Accent lights, ring lights would typically work for the type of content that I make most of the time. But, I already have all this lighting from running a full-time shop in here. So with Duffy, I mean, your lighting is great. What you have, I mean, are you thinking about doing anything differently?
So I've got 2. I run 2 soft boxes and then 2 colored lights behind me.
Right.
It's just all that I run. I mounted lights them from the ceiling. But it's funny because you have like what you guys do with Johnny Builds, which is so different, and then I look at like Padula Studios on Instagram.
That's so fucking good.
Right, but the same thing. He uses harsh lighting on one, one main key light, and right. So like, it's so funny to the different styles, but it attracts different people. Like you said, it has a different purpose.
Like talking heads, like
no.
So he's not like, hey everybody, what's his first name?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. He's like, hey, he's not doing any of the talking heads. Usually when you do a talking head, you're wanting to convey that, like, I'm talking to you. We're here together. Because the more you feel like you're there, the more you're going to watch. Or you're watching somebody like Padula, who is an artist, and you're like, it's like watching a street performer or watching the fucking a ballet. Like you're entranced in like the art of it. So there's very different ways. His light setup is way different. I bet he still has a great overhead light setup for when he's actually doing like work outside of just for YouTube. But yeah, I mean, I think depending on what your target is, I mean, if you're planning on shooting like over there and over there and over there, you don't want to be hauling around lights every fucking where you go. But am I?
Yeah, and well, and it's funny too. Like I look at him, like his style of filming is what I went to school for, and is like that's what it draws me to. But on the other side, you've got you guys that like in Johnny Builds, or I'm thinking of another outside the U.S. guy that I follow because I watch a lot of the outside the U.S. guys. Is Kyobi Masaku Furniture? He's a South Korean furniture maker.
Okay.
But his filming is all just natural light. He has these giant windows in his shop, and there's maybe one ring light around the camera, but the rest of it is all just the natural spill-in. Right. So it's so interesting to see the different styles of what draws people to,
and I think
look
consistency matters more than the actual lighting. It kind of helps dictate the style, but the consistency, like if you're not, I mean, if you have, you know, somebody like Padula or even like Four Eyes Furniture, I'll take him. He's a prime example.
Yep.
He is very artistic with how he does it and his like tone of how he does it. I've been a fan of his since before I was doing woodworking. And he briefly, because other people like Jason Hibbs and John Malecki, they gained popularity and they were talking head heavy. Chris Salamone tried to do a couple talking heads and people didn't really like that style. Like that's not what they watch him for. So he recognized that and pivoted away. I will say like an outlier of somebody who gets that beautiful those artistic shots and also on cam talking is Cam with Blacktail Studio.
I was just thinking that.
So fucking good at that. And like,
yeah,
other YouTubers, like they're like, how the fuck does he do that? But like Scott, his cameraman, is a genius with it, and he's learning more and more about woodworking. Like if you have a cameraman, they got to know where the camera is going to go. Like if you're filming behind somebody on a router, it's the same fucking shot the whole time. Nobody cares about that. But
well, and they also have he always has great storylines and great dialogue that just flows really well.
He's such a good fucking storyteller. Like, and he's a genuinely funny guy. He went to Workbench Con one year, and like he made a point to sit at a different table. Like he was telling me, he's like, I'm sitting at a different table for every meal that I go to. I just want to interact with people. That's what I'm here for. And I'm like, this is the biggest fucking, at that time, woodworking YouTuber. I think now across all of his channels, he probably still has the biggest following, but I think Dusty Lumberco has the biggest on YouTube right now. Probably wrong. I don't know. But he was like, yeah, I want to interact with different people and see kind of, that dude is so quick. Like I consider myself pretty quick-witted. I'm a quick thinker. That dude's so fast. It's hard to talk shit to him because he's like a step ahead of me. And like, I feel like I'm definitely a couple steps ahead of Alex Adams, but he's so quick and he's genuinely nice. And I think that may help with his storytelling because he can like just read it out. And he has a couple great interviews on Steve Ramsey's podcast. I don't even know if Steve still does it. But you go back and listen to some of the Blacktail Studio Cam getting interviewed by Steve. Great fucking episodes. I think he's on there like 5 times. Great interviews. But Cam talks about like when he's recording his voiceovers, he takes deep breaths and he'll stay as much as he can and speak for as long as he can. And then he keeps talking and then he'll take deep breaths and he'll keep talking. So he talks about like the editor having to cut all those out when he's telling all these stories. But having a script, like you were saying earlier, Alex, you don't really have a script. It can help. You don't have to go by the script, but having like a loose idea of a script concept.
Yeah, it just depends on what type of vibe you want to give off, because
Right.
for some people it's better to have more of the like off the cuff language, and for other people, depending on what they're there for, a script might be the better choice for the content.
It's hard to fake off the cuff. Like if you're not really off the cuff, you're just like you're reading a script and trying to make it sound like you're
You sound like a pretentious theater kid. Like you immediately get that vibe most of the time.
You would know.
Exactly.
This is so interesting. I have never heard of the Dusty Lumber Co. before.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. 4 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah. His stuff, it's mostly like...
It's all vertical.
Yeah, it's all short form brought in. So I don't know what his like ad revenue or anything like that would be. Just thinking of like, there's eyeballs on it and people are watching.
Well, no, it's long form vertical. That's what's weird to me. Like all his videos are like 9-ish minutes, but they're all vertical filmed.
Yeah, so they're the same as his like Instagram content, but slowed down a little bit. It's interesting. So he was, when I was doing all my Instagram or short form content research, he was at the top of short form content. So I took a lot of notes from him for sure. And he did it very differently than everyone else did at that time. Now a lot of people do it similar. I mean, my style is very similar to his, but yeah, his I think the majority of his following comes from like the short form style that he has. I don't know how many of them are like, oh, I can't wait for the new Dusty Lumber Co. video to drop, you know, but I like Blacktail, people are like, oh, I can't wait for Cam's next video, or Malecki, people are fucking waiting every Saturday morning for his hot shit to drop.
Yeah. Same with Jason Hibbs. Like people wait every Saturday for when he drops it. Yep.
I haven't watched one of his videos in a while. Is he still like run and slide into camera?
Every video.
That's so funny.
It's his stick.
So ridiculous. He's been doing. He's getting old, man. He's gonna break a hip.
I thought about it, but then I was like, no, I'll break the table. So yeah. I have to over-engineer a table just to do it.
We need somebody to start just running in and like falling on like their finished piece and just crushing it. At the beginning of every video starts with the finished piece being destroyed by them.
Did you
that
ever
would be
see
a thing.
the bar stool that I made with the wood whisperer at his shop?
I remember you going and doing that. It was right after the Midwest.
Yeah, so I was like taking pictures with it, and I literally was sitting on it, and it broke as I was taking pictures. And unfortunately, it didn't have the live pictures on, so I didn't get the moment that it broke. You just get like a picture of me like on my butt looking back at it like longingly.
Yeah, I love watching makers fall in chairs that they make. There's a few. Morgan from Onefinity. He like made a chair and he's sitting in it. He's like, he looks real uncomfortable.
Oh yeah. I remember that one.
It works.
Wasn't it like a laminated?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I remember that.
He's like, it works, and immediately it cracked. And I was like, you can't write this shit. Or the Nick Brim's security cam footage at the Midwest Maker meetup when Daniel Dunlap was sitting in a chair. I'm literally right next to him. And we're just sitting there, and he like reaches and grabs a slice of pizza or a beer or something, and he leans back and he sits there for like 2 seconds, and then the legs of the chair just go bloop and falls. Like, I almost sat in that chair. That would have happened to me. And then they're like, oh,
and then you feel really bad about it.
All the legs were like super loose. I was like, man, I think somebody set him up. I don't know. Damn you, Nick Brim. Yeah, it was great.
That's funny. Nice.
That's some short form content. Alex, start Adams, not Duffy. Start making furniture and destroying it at the beginning of every clip. People will watch that shit.
just start making stunt furniture that's made to be broken,
Yeah.
like like Mel Gibson in the beginning of The Patriot.
Yeah.
You live in the
exactly.
Midwest. You could just go out on somebody's farm and like just take some black powder to it too. Like literally blow
Ooh,
up
yeah.
your furniture
what is it?
piece.
Tannerite? What is that?
I think that's right.
The
Yeah,
shoot,
right?
Yeah.
You shoot it and it explodes.
Yeah, it blows up.
And I'm not that country. I don't know.
You're more country than me.
Dude, I'm from the city. I'm from the ghetto, bro. I
It's
have
like
a
he's a
crackhead
city
living
boy.
outside my house right now. His name's Larry. He protects my shop when I go to work from the other crackheads.
Good job, Larry. Do you give him like something for that?
No,
Just let him sniff the finish.
Yeah, he gets high off the fume, the VOC. They call him VOC Larry.
You just got like a pipe venting outside that is just specifically for him to sniff the fumes.
My laser vent just goes out there. It's like he just hears like the laser start humming, and he's like, "Oh shit!"
It's that time.
He's like, "Good night." And he just fucking passes out. Yeah,
Nice.
just checking on Larry out there.
Yeah.
Good news, everyone.
Ooh.
With that, Alex, what events do we have coming up? Anything?
Just the maker camp that we will not be there, but Mr. Jeff will be there. I hope that he does like a Blair Witch style video of the whole entire thing. That'd be wonderful.
That would be some good short form.
Yeah, the maker camp's like giving me a ticket and like paying me to go and film content for them, and all they get is just me carrying around the phone like at this view, like I'm having so much fun right now.
Like a toddler who's on FaceTime.
I just saw Jimmy DeResta. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, just like that. Oh, that's funny.
Please, for the love of God, make a mini documentary of the cowboy. We need like a mini documentary, like backstory.
That dude ain't a real cowboy.
It's a cowboy. In parentheses.
Never mind. I don't want to drag him into. There's somebody else that like does not like that guy. The cowboy.
Who's the cowboy?
Dude, he like yelled at kids last year. I don't know. I hope
He was like the security guy that was there
I
who
think
took
they
his
had to
job way
step
too
in and
seriously.
They're like, chill just a little bit. Like, I don't know. Maybe he's not. I didn't talk to him at all. I'm sure he's going to be there this year, and I'll get some footage of him. And I could be completely wrong. One thing about me is I always admit when I'm wrong. How else are you going to learn if you can't admit when you're fucking wrong? So he might be the nicest guy in the world. I don't think he's a real cowboy. I don't think he's working on a ranch. I don't know if he's even rode a cow.
Alex, we should have one other piece of news. Did you set the date for our Patreon meetup?
I have not set the date, but I sent out a poll for people to respond to, which someone like commented on the post instead of just like clicking the times on the poll. So please click on the times on the options for our quarterly Zoom call. Otherwise, we'll just pick a date and you'll just have to deal with it.
What are you guys thinking about any like additional benefits for Patreon members or any?
So they get a sticker, and then I also have I need to mail out some gifts.
Somebody can win a hat, crusty sock not included or something. What was that?
Something like that. Do you have recommendations?
I mean, I think the phone call is always good. Quarterly, even like a monthly, that's a lot. Never mind, scratch that. I don't know. You know, there's other podcasts that I won't mention that do a few things here and there. Like it's tough to do giveaways, especially when you guys are pretty new, so it's hard to get things like that. But I don't know. Let me think on it. I like that you have a free $5 and $10, right? Is there a 20 20 also?
I think there's a 20. Yeah, there's like 3 different levels.
Yeah. And that's where you get the handies, or
No, that's the secret.
secret.
$50.
Yeah, $50 tier.
I mean, I could throw in a tier if you could sneak a couple of Johnny's socks. We could like make that part of it. You know.
Yeah, there you go. I'll give away
He's
some.
like, I just need your left socks.
Yeah, left only. Just left.
Left only.
Yeah.
It's better.
Well, that's where they all go. I wondered where my socks go. Are you taking them, Alex?
I played the fifth.
I suggest you give the free members a day early podcast also, because I really wanted to listen to the TJ one before I came on, and I wasn't able to.
No, you got to pay for that one. You got to pay.
I was just like,
I see.
I was like,
I see how it is.
Because I checked it out. I was like, I've listened to a couple of your podcasts. I don't listen to podcasts that often. I listened to a couple. And then I saw TJ was on. I was like, oh, I fucking love TJ. God, TJ's my boy. Just the amount of love I have for that man. I hope he's listening. TJ is going to be demonstrating at Maker Camp. Anybody who's going that's listening. TJ is an artist, but like not in like the Padula way, but like just he is fun as shit to watch, and he's so good. But he like you also he'll just be like talking and teaching you. He is a talented individual, and if you're going to Maker Camp, you have to fucking check out TJ. I think Highland was it Highland? Is that the name? The wood.
Yes,
Highland
He's going to be in Highland Woodworking. I think they gave him some bowl blanks. He'll be turning some cool shit there. Also, he sells bowls. If you're there and you see some shit you like, he might have some with him. I don't know. I told him he should bring some just in case, but definitely go check that out.
He's actually going to be doing a lot of the kid programming. He had told us on our podcast. He's going to be turning a lot of magic wands for kids.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell
right?
Yeah. And
how cool
adults,
is that?
probably. I'm sure if you're an adult and you want a magic wand, ask him. He'll probably teach you how to turn it.
Battery's not
included. I won't.
It's Hitachi?
I think it's pronounced Hitachi.
Yeah.
Hitachi.
Any other events?
All right.
You guys are trying to come up with the Patreon. Is that for paid only, or is that for free?
Yes. That's for the
It is for paid only.
Okay.
So you have to join for a month, Jeff.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Make sure you join my Patreon too, Jeff. I have a free tier as well.
I was on Sawdust Talk, and I still haven't subscribed to theirs. I was an OG of that, and I don't even subscribe to that Patreon.
Nobody does. We gave Jesse a hard time about that because they don't do anything. They've hosted once.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Listen, Jesse, you're not listening to this podcast. But TJ,
no, she's not.
I think you are. You got to kick her in the ass, and you guys got to do something. I don't know. Talk to me at Maker Camp. When this will drop the day of Maker Camp, right?
Maybe a few days before.
Cool.
This is going to drop on October 8th.
Okay, so if you're at Maker Camp and you have listened to this, walk up to me and say the magic word of pickle.
Keith Johnson shit your pants?
Yeah, Keith Johnson shit my pants. Yeah, that's it. And I won't give you anything or do anything special. I just want people to come up to me and tell me that Keith Johnson shit their pants.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you guys so much for listening, and until we see you again.
In case I don't see ya. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Good night, everybody.
Night, night.
Thanks, guys.
Cock chair.